This here's my Stihl MM55 mini rototiller. Now, first let me start off by saying I love Stihl equipment. It's my favorite, okay? I went and bought this for my wife years ago. We used the heck out of it for a couple of years, and then it sat. Well, there was a recall on the carburetors, and I didn't stay on top of it. I probably didn't send in the warranty registration card, so they didn't know to notify me. Anyway, that carb needed replaced. It didn't like ethanol fuel. So next time I went out to fire it up, it didn't run right, and then it wouldn't run at all. So I cheaped out and went and got myself a no-name Amazon carburetor, which is what's on it right now. And today I'll be taking that off, because as soon as I put that carburetor on, it wouldn't run. I mean, just would not run. I put new fuel line on it, I put a new filter on it, just wouldn't run. So I went online and I found the original Stihl carburetor. So we're going to pop this guy off, pop the new Stihl on, see if it works. Nothing like doing a job 3 times. Let's get to work. Okay, my camera is not real good at close-ups, so I'll try to explain things as best as I can. Airbox removal, airbox cover removal, filter removal. Hold on, let me grab another tool that I should have had out. That was a screwdriver. This is an 8mm nut driver. Loosen up each side a little bit. There we go. This thing barely fits with the plastic and everything. There's a nut. There's the other nut. Okay, airbox backing plate coming off. I don't know if that's the real name for this stuff. That's just what I call it. Oh, gasket. Don't want to mess that up. Now the carburetor is ready to come off. I'm going to make sure it's not in run mode. And I do something that a lot of people say I shouldn't do. To get the throttle linkage off, you know, I keep putting my head in the shot, which is not the best thing. I open up the throttle, and because I've got big fat fingers and getting them in here is not the easiest thing to do, and hold all this stuff, I actually put a tiny little, very carefully, because I don't want to scratch up the inside of the carburetor, I use that to hold the throttle plate open, which backs this cable off here a little bit. I'm going to grab get some more light on this. It's really hard to see down in there. And then I've got my headlamp here too. I hope it doesn't blow everything out. Anyway, makes it easier for me to see. Tug on this a little bit, slide the throttle out, and we are good to go. Now I'm going to hold that while I take this out. I just don't rip it out, and I pull it off. Now, this here should slide out. Get it off a little bit. I'm going to disconnect these fuel lines here. And I just replaced this, so this is a brand new one. Oh, I hope I can get it off without tearing it. This is not good, because I do not have a replacement. This is the only one I have. I do, but it's kind of gooey. So I'm wondering if maybe that was the problem. So there's that. This is your fuel return line, and this one here is your primary feed line. The one that's it's got the ribs on it. It's your primary feed line. So let's see if I can get it off. That's the hardest part. So I slide it off. There we go. And I think this here will come right off. And that's it. So that's how hard it is to get the carburetor off. Let me grab the new carburetor. Okay, here's the new carburetor. Now, the gasket's in place. The throttle is still back here and it didn't get all crooked and everything. So now what I need to do is I need to put this one with the ribs on it, goes back here to the back one, which is your fuel pickup. And you know what? I'm gonna get it started on here first. There we go. Slide it on a little bit. And then let me take this off so I can show you. What I do is I cross these two like this. I take the fuel return line, the skinny one, and I bring it over this way. And then, so instead of wrapping it around like this, I wrap it around like this. And it does a couple things. One, that way this little skinny one doesn't get trapped back up here behind everything. And two, it helps prevent the primary feed from not kinking and closing off. Okay? Is it the right way? I don't know. It's just the way I do it, and it's what's worked for me. So put you there. And, you know, I don't know how much of this you're going to be able to see, but, oh, it popped out, which I hate it when it does that. You know, it's doing so well. So, let me set that guy back down again. Okay, that's on. Gasket's in place. Pull this guy this way. Set the carburetor on here on the studs. And push everybody down. Slide the carburetor back a little bit. Kind of hold everything. And it's when I pushed down here, when I pushed on that, is when it popped that throttle off. So you just got to be careful not to bump your throttle cable. And so the primary feed line is on. I'm going to slide the carburetor all the way back. And see, I got this skinny one here holding that so it doesn't get kinked on your return line. And slide that on. And there you go. So here comes the gasket. Yep, got a little dirty. That's what happens when you work in a wood shop. You get wood sawdust everywhere. Now the airbox backing plate. Oh, nope. You know, I always forget this. I gotta take my little screwdriver and put it in the throttle body. Hold this open. And I have to connect up the throttle. There it is. It popped back up here. So run that down that way. In there behind its little holder. Brings it down. I use a regular flat bladed screwdriver to kind of turn the throttle part there that holds the throttle cable. I don't know what it's called. So it's straight up and down. Grab my bent pliers here, bent needle nose, and I didn't turn it enough. Oh, I got it. So that's in. Now what I have to do is I have to push down on the throttle with my finger, remove my screwdriver, let the throttle go, and it pops right in, and you're done. Okay? I wish I had like a macro function so I could show you how that works, but hopefully I was descriptive enough there for you to understand. Airbox backing plate goes on. This little tube here goes through that gasket, and the studs pop out. And everything looks good. Everything's setting good. You have to get the nuts started first before you put them on the nut driver. Don't ever drop them in the nut driver and just shove them on, because if you do and you're cross-threaded, you're done. What I do is I just take a little, and I used to use wooden Q-tips, but I don't have them. I just use a small screwdriver, set it on there, spin it in, and then carefully work it on. Get it started. Okay, once it's started, I make sure that it spins all the way through the nut. That way I know it's not cross-threaded. And I do the other side. Get this guy up here. Slide this thing around. Your backing plate will wiggle a little bit because it's really tight in there between the plastic and the nut, which is why you don't want to just shove a nut driver on there, because it could cock it off to the side and you will definitely cross thread it. So, almost got it here. And just this, getting this started is the tricky part. Yeah, so frustrating. And that is not on straight. So let me see if I can just use my finger to hold it in place and spin it around. And I think I got it. Nope, I didn't. And see, that's why you don't force it. Because if I had forced that, I would have cross-threaded it. So I'm actually going to turn the nut over. Let's try the other side now. Okay. And the backing plate must be just catching it because it's not letting it go on straight. So we're almost there. We're almost there. Almost there. Got it. Okay, so there we go. Now you can get your nut driver in here, slide it on, and because it's so tight, it might not even go on there straight, but there you go. Spin it down until it just touches. Do the other side, and this side you can tighten it down, and then go back to the first one and snug. Snug, we're good. Grab your air filter, pop your air filter in, get your airbox cover, get the hooks on, bring it around to the side, and tighten it down. Almost done here. And almost done here, almost done. There you go. We are good to go. Just changed the carburetor out, so let me get it off the bench. I'll back you guys up a little bit, and we'll see if it'll start and run with the new Stihl carburetor instead of the Amazon cheapie. Okay, I have to see if I remember how to start this guy. Set the throttle, move this to start, release this, pull the choke on, take your glasses off, otherwise they go flying, and see if she'll start. Oh, choke's on, yep. Oh, I forgot to prime it. Let's get the prime going. Okay. Okay, take the choke off. And there you go. Well, I think my startup procedures need a little bit more work because I almost rototilled some concrete here. Anyway, what did we learn today? Don't buy cheap Amazon carburetors. I mean, if you want to, I did. And then I went and bought the Stihl in the box carburetor. And it fired right up. What they say, anything that's worth doing once is worth doing 3 times, which is what I did. Anyway, we're good to go now. We made progress. Is it perfection? No. I almost chewed up concrete. I almost took the blades out on this thing. Took me 3 tries to get it done, but I did it. Hey, thanks for watching.